Hi, this is a video to describe a custom document management system that I created for an academic journal. It's created in JavaScript, and I used AngularJS for the front end, and Angular materials for the I/O, and then it's expressed in Node on the back end, and mongoDB to store the information. So first you have to log in, obviously, and when you do, it'll take you to the 20 most recent documents that have been entered into the database. So if people are working on new documents, this is the first ones they'll see, and they can browse and see if they want to work on one or see what's just been entered. And it'll give you some brief details about which section of the journal, the academic journal, it's in, who's the author. There's a DOI, which is a unique identifier, and tells you the status of where it is in the editing process. And if you want to see more, you click on Full Entry. It'll give you a few more details. And then it has all these panels which you can open up to see even more details about where the document is or different details. But I'll get into that in a few seconds. And also you can edit or delete at the bottom. So if you want to add a document, you go here. You first pick the section from a drop-down menu. So there's lots of different sections in this journal. I'm sure like other publications, academic publications are the same. So there's research and there's editorials and opinion and humanities and news and letters. Lots of things. So we'll say we're going to enter a research article. So it's a research paper. So we'll say here's a unique identifier. This is a number, so you have to enter a number into this field. So I'll just make one up. I can say title. So we can just say new cancer drug research, or just for a title. And so we can say the author is Smith. Some sections have departments, which is like a subsection of the main section. And the accept date is when the paper is first accepted by the journal, and means that it's the beginning of the editing process. So I can just pick a date from a calendar. And so I did this because now at the top, these fields this is based on feedback from the editors. You can get the document in the database early without getting too many details, because if you open up all these panels below, there's hundreds of fields. There's so much information to put in that if it was all open from the beginning, it would be a bit overwhelming. So from here, you can just submit, and it says the document's added, and then it will take you to the most recent, and you can see at the top, new cancer drug research in the research section by Smith. And the status is 1 accepted. So the status gets updated according to how far it is in the editing process until its final status, which means it's been published and it's done. So if you want to edit it further, you can say see full entry. And you can see when you open the panels now, there's nothing there because we only put the bare bones in. So if you wanted to edit and update it, all the fields you can edit all the fields now. And so if you go to the timeline, for example, you can see the payment date, online issue date, and print issue date. So those are all different dates. There's a weekly online digital issue. And so if you click on that and you see the calendar, only the days of when there are issues will show up because that's been preloaded in. So if I go, for example, back to January 7th and click on that, I can say this document is going in the January 7th issue, and there is a January 7th issue because it showed up in red on the calendar. Otherwise, you couldn't select it. And for print issues, there's only one a month, so it's just the first day of the month shows up. Nothing else can be clicked and selected. So we'll say it's in the March issue, so it'll just be March 1st. If you open document details, you can see there's a drop-down menu there's an area of focus here. There's advertising conflicts. You can put in things like if you use a web image, you can use the URL to the image and the credit, number of pages in this article. So we can say it's not 20 pages, but say 5 pages, number of figures, 3 figures, 2 boxes, 1 table, on and on it goes, right? So you can put in text fields as well, like related materials. So you can say see last month analysis paper if it was related. And there's also some Boolean inputs, so you can say true or false. So it can say this needs to be translated into French, and we want a press release for this document. There's also social media, so hashtag social summary, multimedia, which has some drop-down menus. So we can say we want a podcast with this document, and we also want an infographic. Now here you see there's quite an extensive one here in this panel called editing timeline. So this tracks who is touching the document when and what process, and there's a lot of people who edit and track documents. So you have to pick someone who could be an editor, someone else is a coordinator, someone else is a proofreader, And then there are senior editors who are physicians who read it. And then you have things like what date did it get entered into the system. So you can click on a date for that. And then it's like what date did the editing begin. So you click on a date for that. And this is all tracked extensively right through. So you can say it's sent to senior edit. Click on a date for that. So you will go back and forth and proofreading, fine-tuning, everything all the way till it gets finalized at the end. And then there's also these things called collection codes, which is quite extensive codes for classifying the type of document, what area it should go in. So this is a searchable field. So if I went in and said MENT, so mental health will come up. And if I choose another code, it'll say, so cancer, and it'll be different kinds of cancers. So this is a searchable field because there's lots of codes, and that's what the editors wanted. They didn't want to drop them in where you had to scroll the whole way because it would be a lot of scrolling. So it's searching. And here are some text notes you could put in and general notes. So you can say hold for June or whatever you wanted. So you submit it now, and it shows you back to the most recent. If you open up now, the information you enter will be present when you look down into the panels. Open it up if you entered any information. So we got the multimedia, we got the editing timeline, the editors that we put in, the collection codes that we entered, and the notes. So that's how you enter something, and that's how you find it and edit it. So obviously a database needs a search engine. So this search query was designed with the editor feedback of how they work. So a lot of time what they want to see is they still want to see what do I have, for example, a research paper that's available for print, or is it available for a digital online issue, and what section they want to search from. And I want to search for papers accepted after a certain date. And so you can search by like title keywords, author. If you know the unique identifier, the number, you can search by that. So for example, a lot of times I think people will use it to just say, I need a editorial for my next print issue. Do I have any that haven't been used yet? So you click on available for print, editorial, search, didn't find anything. Okay, so that means they didn't have any for print. So say available for print, I need a analysis available for print. Okay, this depends on what's in here. So I can see what do I have in here, see what kind of commentaries I have. So there's a lot of commentaries in here, as you can see. So if you only search for commentaries, you're gonna get a lot. But maybe I'll see if there's any commentaries that have not been used in a print issue yet. So section, commentary, available for print. Yeah, so here we go, we've got some of these. So these have been not entered into a print issue yet, but they probably have been put into online issues. So if you search for available for online issue in the commentary, you only find one. So that means that if you look into the full entry and you look at the timeline, you can see it's been tagged in a print issue, but it has not been tagged into an online issue. So that means it's available. So an editor can say, okay, I'm going to use this one in the next weekly digital issue. Another thing they wanted to have is that they want to be able to search for their own what they're working on. So if you pick an editor's name, for example, and search, whatever this editor is working on, those documents will come up, and they like to see the status as well because that will show you how far it is in the process. And so earlier in this process, the status will be higher and probably a higher priority, and the further it's getting on, so they want to know where the document is and what they're working on any given day. So another option is most of the documents you edit at the document level, and it updates it in the database, but you can also edit at the issue level. So for example, there are weekly online issues. So if you click on online, you're given an input, which is a calendar, and you only see the days where there is an online issue, which are highlighted in red. So if you clicked on this one, for example, it'll go to the database and fetch every document that was tagged as being in this issue. It'll tell you the previous document, the previous online issue, and the last page of that issue, because the pages roll over. So if the last page of the last issue was 20, then the first page of this one will be 21. It'll tell you this date and the volume issue, and the first and last page here of this issue, which will be updated according to how you edit this issue below. So first it gives you a summary of all the documents, and the order that they're given here are put in by an administrator because the table of contents has a specific order. So it knows when it fetches the commentary and research or practice for an online issue, it knows which order to put it in automatically. And then below, so this is a summary of the 13 papers in this issue. And then you go below, you can go see the full entry again and edit that entry if you want. But also you can edit at the issue level, which is what is good for people who want to lay out these issues. So for example, here you see this is a commentary, and here's a gray field that this gray field indicates that you are editing now on this page. So it won't be editing at document level. It's editing. You can edit all these gray things, gray fields here at the issue level. So if I wanted to say, so the last issue was on page 20. I'll say the first page of this one is 21. The last page is 22. Submit it. So I'm still saying on here's page, but it'll be updated at the top. So you see now the last page is 22. So you can edit each one. So that was 22. So the next article might start on page 23 and go to 24. Like that. And so the same thing is also true for print issues. So you can go through print issue, and you go to, say, January, and it'll do the same thing. It'll show you these ones have been tagged in the thing that's being for a print issue, and you can also go and edit your print issue layout. So you can say this one's on page 1 to page 3. And then you submit it, and it will be updated. So you can lay out your print issue, you can lay out your digital issue, you can search for any document, you can edit any document. So this is going to make the whole document process, which is very complicated, and very specific to this type of journal, but it will make it a lot easier because right now they use this very complex system of many spreadsheets with thousands of rows, and it's causing lots of problems. So hopefully this, because it was made to kind of make their workflow easier and more efficient, will help them track their documents and know exactly where they are in the editing process, and easy to find and easy to edit and easy to update. And also they can edit their weekly issues, digital issues, and their monthly print issues. Okay, thanks.